Sounds like there's a lot of interest.
All right. A few people have invited us in just to laugh at me on this deal. Is that you?
No.
Is that what this is?
That's not what this is. That's just how Mark is. Let's see what you got.
I'm sorry.
You smell that? What is that?
What?
What's that smell?
The cologne?
No.
Opportunity.
No. Money.
Oh, okay.
I smell money.
Okay.
Chris. God damn it.
Sorry.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Down to Watch, the podcast that asks, are you down to watch? I am your host, Kahmeela, and this is also the podcast where we just talk about all sorts of movies, music, TV, and pop culture, and all that jazz. Down to Watch can now be found on Anchor.fm and Spotify, and as always, this podcast will contain spoilers, and I have my co-host today is Marcella.
I'm back.
Yay! We're finishing this, and you're probably going to be sticking around for a while until we get to something, until I guess you've just had enough, and you and you refuse to take it anymore. And we're still throwing around if the next once we finish Ryan's stuff, if we'll go on and do another celebrity block kind of thing, another actor block specifically. I was tossing around some names in my head, like Angela Bassett, or maybe since we've been so heavy, it's a lot of white guy stuff. Here,
I was just we do love some Jared Leto though. That could
right, I know, right, and Tom Hardy, I would absolutely love. I love me my white boys, but
right?
I would also like to throw some appreciation to my peoples as well. Right. So maybe I don't know.
Michael Ealy.
Yeah, Michael Ealy.
Interesting roller coaster of shit.
Right. Aldous Hodge, maybe. That would be good.
I want to watch One Night in Miami.
Yeah, me too. But that's also, if that feels like something I need to be in the proper space for. Mm-hmm. I want to see it, but I know it's going to need my attention, and it's probably going to leave me with a lot of feelings after I'm done too. So
we could go person, or we could go theme. We could go activist movies, or
God, that's asking for a lot on my
my emotion.
Right, exactly. It's what do you what do you want me to just
we could do 90s teen movies, or
we're still playing around with it. So if you have some say and that you want to toss us some ideas, you can get at me on the Twitter, down_watch is the Twitter account, as well as you can send an email to downtowatchpodcast@gmail.com. So as I mentioned, as we were obviously talking about, if you didn't read the synopsis for this episode and you weren't really paying attention and you didn't listen to the last one and you're just here because you like the movie The Big Short, what we're doing is we have been just going through Ryan Gosling's filmography. Why? Because Ryan Gosling.
Right. Why are you asking? Why question?
Because it's Ryan Gosling. And arguably he is he's one of the greatest actors that are working today. And I really do fully believe that, a lot of his movies I'm not really that keen on, but he does come in and get the job done. It's never really his fault per se. If I don't like the movie,
right,
it usually has something to do with the directing or the script in itself, and whatever. But he comes in and gives 110%, and I appreciate him for it. Whether it be something really gut wrenching like Blue Valentine or Half Nelson, or to a fucking SNL sketch about Santa Claus
being abducted by aliens,
right? Or which that Santa Claus skit is my favorite SNL skit. Definitely my top 5 SNL skit to this day.
I like when he can't contain his laughter.
Yeah, when he breaks character. It's great. It's funny. So he, because I guess COVID, and because he's got family and kids and he doesn't really need to do a bunch of movies right now, there's not a lot of Ryan Gosling news to report. Every so often I do come across these nice little thought pieces or whatnot, and I came across one on Screen Rant that was posted 6 days ago by Ben Sherlock, and he talks about Drive and 5 ways the driver is Ryan Gosling's best character, and 5 alternatives to that. And I'm not going to really get too deep into this. You can go to Screen Rant yourself and find it. but some of the reasons that they mentioned, like the reasons why they mentioned that is the best character is that most of his communication is nonverbal, and he's in over his head, and just like obvious reasons of like why they just kind of go through and kind of pick apart each character. But then on the flip side, it's like alternatively, it's like, okay, these are 10 reasons why the driver is the best character, but also he did this awesome thing as Holland March in The Nice Guys, which we haven't gotten to yet.
And I've not seen.
So, So if you want to check that out, it's on screenrant.com, and it's called...
I will not read it until after I've watched The Nice Guys, so it doesn't spoil it for me.
And it's called And Drive, 5 Ways the Driver is Ryan Gosling's Best Character.
Okay.
But today, we are talking about The Big Short. All right. And The Big Short came out in, I totally forgot to put that, 2015? What was that?
Something around that.
Yeah,
2000.
Yeah, 2015. And the plot is in 2006, 2007, a group of investors bet against the U.S. mortgage market. In their research, they discover how flawed and corrupt the market is. This was directed by Adam McKay, written by Adam McKay and Charles Randolph, based on a book also. It's also like based on true events. And starring Ryan Gosling, Brad Pitt, Jeremy Strong, Marissa Tomei, Christian Bale, Steve Carell, and every other white man in Hollywood over the age of 30. So if you've ever seen them in something, for the most part, they were probably in The Big Short.
It also won an Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay.
And there's a lot of Oscar winners and nominees among that cast. So, The Big Short, our history with the movie. I thought I had seen this, but it didn't ring any bells as I was watching it. Maybe I tried to watch it once and it just didn't click, which is quite possible because this movie, a lot of the subject matter is very much over my head.
I'd never seen it before, and I can tell by looking at the poster that I didn't want to. And going into it, I knew I didn't want to see it, but I knew I had to. And 15 minutes in, I knew it wasn't. I knew the answer to the question was going to be no. I'm not down to watch this.
Oh, that's so dark. Because I actually liked it a lot, and like, mind you, I did not understand, like, when I start talking about all the financial stuff and jargon and all that stuff, there is a part of me that just, like, glazes over and everything. And I can understand where that would be a turnoff for you. Like, the subject matter, like, the actual plot is definitely not something that's like, yeah, sign me up for that, for 2 hours and 10 minutes of that. Yes. But I also found it charming that they tried to explain some stuff in layman's terms, and like the way that they tried to do it, like, I forget what he was explaining, but when they bring in Anthony Bourdain to explain something, I'm like, oh, I get it now.
And I was so bored, and then he was like, now here's Margot Robbie in a bathtub to explain it, and I was like, what? And I look, and there's Margot Robbie in a bathtub explaining subprime loans to me. And then my mind went on a tangent about, why do men suck so much that we have to have a girl in a bathtub? Like, that's the image that, like, why does she have to be naked? Why is she in a bathtub? Why do people treat women? My brain went on this whole tangent.
Right, because I was also thinking kind of just like, well, why couldn't it have been like, Tom Hardy in a bathtub explaining it? Like, why?
Right.
Why are we just assuming that it's men that's watching this film that's going to be entranced by this image?
And now I think the second strike it had against it was that it was only streaming on Crackle for me. So I missed it when it was on Prime.
Right.
And I had to watch it on Crackle. And it's a 2 hour and 10 minute movie, I think.
Yeah, 2 hours, 10.
With ads every 20 minutes.
Oh, God.
Maybe less.
That hurts.
And it's not 1 or 2 ads. It's 4 ads.
Oh, that hurts. Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, I couldn't find it on Crackle. Like, I tried, and I just couldn't do it, so I ended up paying the money to rent it. Which, again, not bad, because I really did enjoy this movie. And it's not even about the whole mortgage and all that stuff. There were several times I had to have, like, Dan explain stuff to me. I'm like, okay, wow, what is this? Like, what is he talking about? But again, you know, they do a lot of, you know, and Ryan Gosling's character brings out the Jenga set and explains like the difference between A down to like triple B loans and da da da. I still don't fully understand what was going on. Like
No.
I think I'm about 60% there, and I was like looking at the Wikipedia page. So what's not going to happen in this podcast is we're not going to be able to explain to you exactly what the deal was.
No.
And the long thing is like, you know, Christian Bale plays Michael Burry, who was an eccentric hedge fund manager. And
With a glass eye.
Yeah, in like 2005, and he discovered that the housing market in the U.S., based on high risk subprime loans, was extremely unstable, and he anticipated the market's collapse in the second quarter of 2007. Blah blah blah. So he made all this prediction, and before it all happened, everybody was like, "You're crazy." And then he did some stuff with some mortgages of like, I don't know, something about betting and swapping, and like, I don't understand gambling. So I
For
like
the Big Short, he shorted the loan somehow. He basically turned a lot of money into a shit ton of money.
yes. And he had a lot of banks involved in it, and he had investors. And it was
Who
just
kept screaming at him. I want my, like, there was one 5-minute tirade of a white dude yelling at another white dude, just saying, "Give me my fucking money,
yeah.
Michael. Give me my fucking money.
I
You
loved
fucking
it.
piece of shit. Give me." He just kept saying it over, and Michael had his back turned to him, and he was just like, he just kept saying it over and over again.
What I appreciate is this character that Christian Bale's playing, and you know, again, like Christian Bale. He's
He's
like,
on that list as well.
Yeah, exactly. Just like one of the greatest actors right now. And, you know, I love watching him in just about anything. And he does he elevates this film for me. And first of all, like the whole glass eye thing, my first thing was like, how do you fake a glass eye?
Right.
But
And as a child, did his eye pop out on the football field? Is that what happened during that game?
no, they said that he lost the eye in like a childhood illness. So
Right.
at that point, he had a glass eye when he was in
But did the glass eye pop out on the field?
Yes.
And everybody freaked out?
Yeah. And
Just
rightfully.
pick your eye up and put it back. It's not a big deal. It's like your mouthpiece fell out. They all acted like his actual eye was laying on the
That was
field.
probably, I mean, I'm sure it's very traumatic. Like, it's got to like,
Look at eye.
like maybe like,
Oh, it's just Michael's glass eye. Let's go.
like also you like wonder like how many of those kids knew he had a glass eye. They don't understand this. But like to answer my question was that Lola Effects did the special effects for his glass eye. So it was digitally done. And like the way Michael or Adam McKay did not want it to be too intrusive, since in reality you're not that aware of someone's glass eye except the odd occasion when it does move. So they painstakingly went through every shot to get it just right, which they did.
They did.
Like, because I thought it was something that Christian was doing, like crossing his eyes, like damn, man, what are you, like, where does it end with you? Like, you are method as fuck.
Right? Like Jared Leto wearing those contacts to make him blind.
Right.
In Blade Runner. That's too far, man. That's too, you could. But then again, I appreciate it because you got Ben Affleck's version of blind and Jared Leto's version of blind, which is the better blind.
Right.
And you've got the glass eye. One of my problems was it seemed like, and that's why I had to look it up, because they didn't win any Oscars for hair and makeup. And it seemed like a high school play. Like hair, like Ryan's hair is too black. His skin is too tan.
And you know, and I'm going to go out and say go out on a limb and be like, that was done intentionally. Because again, these are based on real people.
Right.
So, you know, like somewhere out there in 2005, there was some jackass in Wall Street that was too tan.
And hair, he was using too much just for men.
Right, exactly. And getting his eyebrows shaped and waxed, because Ryan's eyebrows were perfectly trimmed, and that was distracting as fuck.
So distracting. And I swear, 30 or 40 minutes goes by before we even see his face. Mm-hmm. You hear him a lot.
Yeah, he does he does narration, but also in the narration in the beginning, he's like, "You'll meet me later."
And I was like, when later? You're the reason I'm watching this movie, and this is really Christian Bale's movie.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And
Steve Carell is so angry. But I love it.
I know.
He is gaining more and more affection for me the older he gets.
Yeah.
Like, I love him more and more as the days go by. I wasn't an
Absolutely.
Office fan, and that's because I can't stand Rainn Wilson. But I just adore Steve Carell, and he is fabulous here.
Yeah, he is. He does a great job. And you're right. I'm appreciating more the older he gets, too, because he's doing much better roles. And he's not, like The Office. I liked The Office, like maybe the first 4 seasons. And I think it should have ended at that point, because after a while, it's just like, how stupid can this person be and like be, and still exist in the world? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So, but yeah, so like, the more interesting roles that Steve Carell takes on, like he's just becoming better and better at his gig. And I also like, just the snippets of things that I've seen about him in real life, and like the little like him and his wife, their relationship seems like really awesome and cute and very supportive. So I really hope to God that, now tomorrow, like something won't pop up terrible about Steve Carell. Like
It keeps happening. People just keep joining the shit list. Somebody else is canceled every day.
So Steve, keep it classy, buddy. Keep it classy.
Please don't be on my doom scroll.
Right.
I can't take it.
So, okay. So yeah, this is a great way to go. So, Steve Carell plays a guy who, I'm not even quite sure. Like, is he a banker? Is he another?
I think he's a
hedge
stockbroker.
fund manager.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, but basically, he's also hearing what's happening. He believes what is going on with this, and I think his biggest thing is that he also gets in on the scam, but he feels really bad about it, and he's also trying to make a change. He's walking around like, can't you guys see how corrupt this fucking thing is?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do
He's got
anything.
some trauma in his life.
Right.
His brother.
Yeah, his brother killed himself, I guess.
From like 1,000 feet. And fuck.
Yeah. And then he saw his body. Like, he saw it. Like, he didn't see it happen,
Yeah,
but he was on the
his
phone.
face was all jacked up.
Yeah, I'm assuming that, he was on the phone. He's on the phone with him when it happened. And I think that was
FaceTime.
Right. Well, we don't think we had that in 2005, 2004. But yeah, so Carell is going around like trying to fix it, but yet he feels bad about it. He's capitalizing on the thing, but he doesn't feel good about it. But his camp, which I would like to point out, and who is slowly making it like on my list, is Jeremy Strong.
Which person was that?
The one that was always chewing the gum that looks like he could be Giovanni Ribisi's brother.
Is he the one that he's screamed at? He got screamed at by Steve's character in that bar when he was like, "We need to sell now," and he was like, "I'm the one who sells."
Yeah,
and everybody at the table was just like,
yeah. And he was the one at the end was like, on the phone with him, like, "Can we sell now, please?"
Right.
Can
He
we
was like,
sell
"Can
now,
we
please?"
please sell now?" Yeah, he's an interesting actor.
So you've never watched Succession?
No.
He's in that, and he is great in that.
Okay.
And apparently, like, he wasn't really on my radar at all until I watched Succession, but he's been in like a lot of shit. Like, he's been in a lot of things that I have seen, but you just don't recall him. So he's just another one of those, hey, it's that guy actors.
It's that guy.
Yeah. Who looks
along with Finn Whitrock,
Right.
who's also in this. Who's also it's that guy
from American Horror Story is like usually my thing. Which, my God, I thought he was so much taller. Like, he comes off super tall in the freak show American Horror Story, and then he's standing next to Brad Pitt, and I'm like, is he laying down? Like,
right. And then there was the scene with Amy Pond from Doctor Who. Why did my brain just go completely blank? On Karen Gillan.
Yes.
I had to turn around and look at her picture. And I was like, oh, because I did.
Nebula.
Truthfully start fast forwarding through this movie. I was like, nope. No. No. And then I stopped at Finn Whitrock and I was like, is that Karen Gillan? It is Karen Gillan. How weird.
Yeah.
And then
she was only in there for a hot second too. Like, she was like 2 minutes screen time, maybe. Yeah,
I don't even know why she's in it. It's completely strange. It's just a credit, I guess.
Because I don't know why. Like, maybe she was just fucking there because I mean, her character is just supposedly some girl that they know who knows some guy that she can, that can help them.
Right, and she just runs around. She's like, "Ooh, that guy's from this bag." Or, "Ooh, that guy's." I'm like, okay. But I do love the scene when it all pays off when the shit starts to hit the fan.
Mm.
And Ryan is like, okay, so I was right.
Right.
And everybody else was wrong. And I got a big check, and I see you judging me. I could feel it. And I was like, there's Ryan.
I love the breaking of the fourth wall.
Through no matter what.
Right. Yes. Okay. So his character is by far my favorite, and he's based on somebody, but it's not. They didn't keep his same name. He's based on somebody real, but they didn't use the guy's real name. But he's such a dick.
He's such a dick. Like when he's like, "What's that smell? What's that smell?" That guy's like, "Opportunity." He's so genuine.
I know. And he's like, no, it's money. He's like, shit, fuck, Chris. It's like, damn it, Chris.
So it does have funny moments in it, but on a whole, it just, when they start talking banking, I'm like,
yeah, exactly. It's like, there's a reason, like, I did not go into that world, and, I don't,
right.
Because, like,
right.
like, I am a creative, and that's not where my brain works. So I had to make the best of it.
Great music selections, though.
Right.
Every now and again, I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Why is it so loud? But okay. Okay.
I think they won an Oscar for editing, or they were at least nominated for editing. Yeah, which at first I thought it was kind of hokey what they were doing, because they would do these snippets of like basically pop culture things, like news stories and celebrity this and what was going on that and blah blah blah, and around that time period. But I think it helps to kind of like immerse you and like to kind of give you a footing of like, okay, this is what was happening, and obviously, and I was more concerned about Britney Spears and whatever.
Right.
So it's also interesting because I guess at that time frame is like when this happened, 2005, 6, 7, the housing market crashes and all these people lose their jobs and homes and blah blah blah. But I was like living in this space of where I didn't have a job that was like considered up to the top to be lost, like I still had a job, but it was like,
I had a job. It was actually the best time to buy. That's when I actually bought 2009, I think is when I bought my, 2009 is when I bought my house, because the housing market tanked. And then they had that federal program where if you got a new mortgage and you were a first time buyer, you got like $8,000 just to buy your house.
Wow.
Because they needed people to buy houses. So it was the best damn thing that ever happened to me.
Yes, and I was still renting at that point, so it didn't really affect me. None of that. I was aware, but not aware. So it was interesting.
And the only thing I learned from this movie basically was Margot Robbie saying, "When you hear subprime loan, just remember it means shit."
Right.
So that will stick with me
forever and ever. Amen.
Forever. So some bank is like, "We're going to get you a subprime." No, you're not.
Nope.
You're not giving me a shit loan.
Back off.
No. It also, it might be because of 2020 being the shitstorm that it was, but this movie had a shocking lack of diversity in it.
Oh, God. My God. Yeah.
I think there were maybe 2 black characters.
Were there? Oh, and then the one...
the squirrely dude that worked for the bank that came up with the original terms of the deal.
And then the woman who...
And then the woman that had to tell Steve Carell that...
Yeah.
She looked like she didn't want to say shit.
She's like, everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
he's like, I walk into the lobby and there's people crying. Like, and you tell me that everything's fine. And then
that scene with all the people that got fired and they were all leaving and that guy was so mad. He's like, after 19 years, and the dude's like, keep it moving to your transport. Don't talk to the press.
He's like, I'll talk to whoever I want to talk to.
And I was like, wait, did they all get fired? That's like 50 people walking out of there.
Right. Like they all just got tanked. And yeah, you're right about the diversity. So yeah, there were like 2 black people, and then the one Asian guy that had a speaking role. That was like a racist as fuck scene where Ryan's like, they ask him if his numbers are right, and he's like, look who I have over here, and he points to the Asian guy. He's like, his name is Chang. He doesn't speak a word of English, and he won like the blah 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 thing in China. Then we break the 4th wall, and Chang turns around and is like, actually, my name is John. And I do speak English.
And it just further solidifies how much of a dick Ryan's character is.
Right. But it's just it definitely brings the needed humor to it for me, because I probably would have been pulled out much sooner had it not been for that character, for his character. And even like I don't even recall what was happening, but he was on the phone with somebody. He's in the bathroom and he's like bullying dudes to get out of the bathroom. The way he just walks up to that dude and just stares in his face as he's at and they run out. And he gets off the phone. He finishes his conversation. Some poor schmuck has just finished pooping, and he comes out of the stall and he's like, "How much did you hear, Chris? How much did you hear?"
And we haven't even broached the topic of Brad Pitt in this film.
That's right. Which his character is very calm and silent. I like it.
He's like a burly little grandpa. Like, I want to hug him so much. And it was hilarious, the scene when he gets off the plane at the airport and he's coming down the escalator and he passes that Asian man with the face mask on and he salutes him.
Right. Because he's also wearing a
painter's mask on. I'm like, oh man, this was 2000. Okay.
Right, exactly. Which probably so his character is this guy who was an investor or a banker at some point and decided that he didn't want to do it anymore. And now he's trying to live off the grid. So he's like farming and doing all this stuff. But so he ends up helping out like the two kids, Finn and whatever the other dude's name is.
I think he was on Orange is the New Black.
He's just this quiet older guy character who's like kind of reluctantly helping these dudes, and there's nothing in it for him really. They're like, "Why'd you help us?" He's like, "Because you said you wanted to be rich. Now you're rich. Okay, leave me alone."
And then they panic, and everybody's like, it's just a bunch of white dudes panicking all over the place.
It is a lot of white tears.
It's so many, and I think that's what kept taking me out of it. I was just like, there's no one I can identify with in this movie,
right? Because I don't think any of them really had any like real stake, like aside from losing billions of dollars. So you had billions of dollars to lose anyway. You know, like I don't see that as a real problem on my end. Like because they are in the middle and are looking around and looking outside at all of these other people who have real problems, who are actually losing jobs that they needed and homes that they barely could afford to begin with. And so, but they're just like, "Oh, I tried to tell you," counting my money, ching, 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 ching.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I could identify with no one. I don't. And it was also a question mark. It's like, why is Selena Gomez? Because she was in there too as somebody else that was just explaining what was happening, and I was more like, but why Selena Gomez? Is she old enough to be here at this point?
Marissa Tomei was great though.
The 5 lines she had.
I mean, she had some deep emotional impact in almost every conversation she had with Steve Carell.
Right. She plays his wife. And
just wants him to open
right?
up.
It's like, dude, grieve. It's okay. It's like
I love the scene when he's on the phone with her and she's like, just grieve. And that man tried to steal his cab and she's still on the phone with him and he's like, fuck you, it's my cab. Fuck you, it's my cab. And he's like, it's not your cab, it's my cab. And she just hangs up.
It's like, never mind.
So it did have some funny moments, but on a whole, I won't watch it again, I don't think.
Well, all right, so we go to get to, there's some fun facts here about it. After Christian Bale met with the real Dr. Michael Burry, he asked to have Burry's cargo shorts and t-shirt, which he then wore in the movie. Bale later said he hoped Burry would make it to the film's LA premiere, quote, because I really want to sit next to him and see if he's going to punch me in the fucking face. End quote.
That's great. That is pretty great.
The quotation that appears on screen, "Truth is like poetry and most people fucking hate poetry," overheard at a Washington, D.C. bar, was written by director and co-writer Adam McKay after unsuccessfully searching for the perfect quotation to use for that segment. I love that quote. I would absolutely. Mm-hmm. I would bumper sticker it. I would wear it on t-shirts. I will put it in my Facebook bio.
Yep.
It's great. Which speaking of the quotes that they were using, there were a lot of the on-screen quotes in this film. One was or it wasn't even on screen. I think one of the characters said, "We live in an era of fraud in America." That one like hit deep. It's like, wow, America. So, which I fully 100% endorse that quote.
Yeah.
That's we're consistent at it. And I feel like it's not even just an era of fraud in America. It's just the entire existence of America is built upon fraud.
It's built upon fraud,
Yeah.
which is when you look at what happened in 2020 and the shitstorm that is the first 19 days of 2021, I've never understood racist's base comment of leave my country. It's not yours.
Right. Exactly.
It was never yours.
Exactly. And
It was stolen from the people who actually lived here.
Right.
So we all have to go home.
Right.
If we want to be honest.
Right. You know those little group of people that they call Native Americans? Right. There's a reason. Let's look up the word native and find out exactly what that means. And also, you know, you tell all these, they get all these stories like, yeah, get out of my country. My grandfather came from Poland. What?
Came from where?
Like you did what
Was
now?
it here?
Right.
Then no. I guess you're going back to Poland.
Right. Exactly. So you're fucked up. You're fucking up. Like just stop it.
Well, I was born here. Motherfucker, so was I.
Right, exactly. So what are you saying? Like,
what are you saying?
Get your facts straight. Like you have to think about it, and like just don't. Whatever. Okay.
I kept hoping it would eventually be bred out, but stupidity.
No, it just keeps
stupidity.
Yeah, it just keeps going and going. Yeah, because you have to. There's that moment because like, you know, you've got the idiots and racists that are breeding and procreating and whatnot. And, you know, okay, so it's not that child's responsibility per se to find the alternative ways, the proper ways of being educated and learning about the world. This is what they're hearing day in and day out. So all you can do is like hope and pray at some point that something happens. The child gets to a crossroads where it's like, okay, I'm either going to go left or I'm going to go right. And that was not meant in a political statement whatsoever. It's just like figuratively, I'm going left or I'm going right in what my life, the rest of my life is going to look like. So it's all a lot to deal with.
It's all set up for failure the second we start.
Right.
And it's just like that hamster wheel. Your whole life, you're running on that hamster wheel.
Yeah.
And I think I'll just stay home tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which is inauguration day here in the U.S.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I think I'm going to stay home.
Maybe the rest of the week because it's.
Well, I went out today and everything was okay. But it's crazy.
Tensions
It's
be
not
high.
safe.
People. Yeah, it's unpredictable. And to say the very least of it. And yes, that's the best bet is to just
stay home and watch Ryan Gosling movies.
Keep my black ass at home. So on to lighter things. In the specials section of the Blu-ray of The Big Short, director Adam McKay revealed that he wrote the role of Jared Vanette with only Ryan Gosling in mind.
It is a very Ryan Gosling role.
It is.
I mean, he's charming, but dickish.
Right. And he's got his
confident.
So confident. And comes in to tell his business, to tell you your business, and is very dramatic. Like the way he goes out with like explaining the types of loans with the Jenga, and he's like throwing, where's your trash can? And they're like behind you, and he's like throwing pieces of Jenga in the trash can. It's trash. It's shit. And so like here's like a little synopsis, like a little bit of a explanation of the 3 types of mortgage bonds that are in The Big Short. Subprime mortgage bond is the most basic of the 3. It is only home loans. The next is mortgage-backed security. This is tranches of loans, which I found out from the movie is a French word for pieces of, I think.
Okay.
Pieces of loans that is backed up and all the loans in it are given a AAA rating. This means if you short the bond, it has a very, you know what? Never mind.
Right? I was like, okay, I'm out. I'm done. My brain is starting to think about the movie I watched last night that was really good.
So never mind. So yes, it's not up to us to explain to you the mortgages and bonds and mortgage bonds and brokers. And I did not go to school for that.
Nope.
I did not handle the mortgage of my home. I don't, that's my husband's deal. I just make sure we pay it. I didn't broker anything. So yeah, so that's where I am. Again, you know what? I went to art school. So there. So hopefully.
But there's like no redeeming value. Like white rich dudes got richer in the end. It's not like there's this big payoff that like it was a great happy ending. Like rich dudes got richer. Burry is in some shit. He's been like audited and
right.
No one likes him.
Well, it's like I think he closed down his hedge fund afterwards, but he made a bunch of money. But the way Dan explained it to me is that he should have made much more. But he closed the thing down.
That one dude that wanted out. He made that one dude, $489 million.
Right.
And Ryan got a $47 million bonus from it.
$47 million. That
of
would be
other people's pain.
Right. Yeah. And so, I mean, I guess that is the big takeaway from this film about this portion in Americana, this portion of time in Americana is that, you know what? Fuck. Like all this happened, all this went down, and then these rich dudes just got richer off the backs of poor people who were either
lost their home, lost their job.
Right, who were either uneducated, unaware, didn't lack the same. They didn't have the same opportunities as these. So it's just like, the system is flawed and not just the banking system.
Well, and I'm left with this feeling of what was I supposed to get out of this movie? Anger? Laughs? Like
it was barely like, I mean, and I don't think, because it's not even like.
It's not that deep.
No, because I don't even think like the laughs portion of it, it's not even something that's not a broad spectrum, because like, that's just something like I feel like a very particular person with a very particular sense of humor is enjoying those moments. And
they label it as a comedy drama.
What? Comedy?
Yeah. Comedy drama.
There's no comedy aside from like the little Ryan snippets. Like that's it.
But yeah, it's in the description. I think it's this comedy drama, and I'm like, well, it's not that funny.
No. So yeah, that is The Big Short. The star ratings. The movie, again, because I enjoyed, and this is all based upon the actors' performances, not necessarily the plot, because I kind of understand the plot. And again, like, what we were saying, like, there is definitely not a happy ending, and you just kind of walk away like, okay. But I give it a 4 because like everybody like really fucking like shown that above and beyond, and I don't know what these real people were actually like, but I assume that Christian Bale like nailed it. Whoever this Michael Burry is.
I like your haircut. Did you do it yourself?
Right. There's a scene like somebody was like, "Are you trying to be funny?" He's like, "I don't know how to be funny. I don't know how to be sarcastic. I don't know how to get over on people." Like that's this is who I am.
And right before he said that, he had said, "Sometimes I say things, and it makes people feel awkward or something."
Right.
He was like, I'm awkward. And sometimes I say things and people think I'm being rude, and I'm not. And then he says,
I like
nice
your
haircut.
haircut. Did you do it yourself? Like, 'cause that really does sound like a smart ass comment.
It does. I give it a 2.5 because the performances were great, but I really did hate except for Christian Bale. I get what he was going with the hair and the knowing that he was wearing that man's clothes. I get it. Everybody else just looked kind of weird. Like Ryan looked like he should actually be in Wall Street, the movie with Charlie Sheen and Michael Douglas, rather than this movie.
What was it, like 1986?
Right. And Steve Carell, I don't know what they did to his hair and the color. It was too close to the color of his skin.
Yeah.
So it just made him look like an angry tomato throughout most of the movie.
So basically, he reminded you of the little guy from what is that Pixar movie or that Disney movie?
Yes, the little angry for Inside Out.
Right.
Yes. And the women were useless.
Yep.
Again.
Yep. They just did not.
Except for Marissa Tomei. She did, but she was just like, open up, open up, open up.
Well, it's probably also at that point, like however long they've been married or together and however long he's been holding this in, she's just like, oh my God, I need you to please just let it out now. Let it out now.
And then he finally does, and it's like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Puppy. But yeah, I give it a 2.5.
All right. I give Ryan a 5 because his character again was really what was like the saving grace for keeping my attention as long as like, aside Christian Bale, like I really can't just, like take it away, anything away from him, but still like Ryan gives it that the comic relief that
this was Christian Bale's Rain Man for sure.
Oh yeah, totes. And are we down to watch again? I am.
Nope.
It's just because I found that shit so funny. Like
my favorite line is I feel you. I can feel your judgment. That was my favorite Ryan scene. I like that part, but no, I will not watch it again.
What I love his belittlement of his assistant Chris. Like there was one point he's like, "Shut the fuck up, Chris." And I lost it. I laughed for like 5 minutes straight, like hard.
He has that swagger, that Ryan swagger is on full display here.
Yes.
Like, I don't even know if it's really a character, so I don't want to say he disappears into a character this time.
No, because this is like I've seen this guy before. Like Ryan has done this guy before, and I think we'll see him again in Nice Guys. So where can you watch it? You can rent it everywhere. Like Marcella got to watch it on Crackle, but I couldn't find it on Crackle for free.
Now, oddly enough, the way I found it on Crackle was I went to my Plex server and I typed it in to see if I had it, and it brought it up, but it showed it as it said Crackle. Oh. So I just played it from there.
Huh. Yep. So try your luck. Otherwise, you'd have to pay. I think it starts like the lowest I saw was $2.99 on Prime, and then like $3.99 everywhere else or something like that. So wherever you watch movies, the Bechdel test, it fails the Bechdel test terribly.
And I'm not even sure there's two women in the same scene together.
Oh no.
Except for possibly Steve Carell's wife and daughter.
He had a daughter?
The daughter does not speak.
He had a daughter? I don't even remember.
She was in one of the scenes when he was on the phone. She was in the background playing with her phone.
Oh, gotcha. Nope. Yeah, does not pass the Bechdel test. So the Gosling Gauge, does he sing or dance? Unfortunately, no. Like I feel like there should have been a little shimmy when Vinny and Steve Carell and them agreed to work with him or whatever when he was in the gym, because he just went around and high-fived everybody. But,
or even when he got that $47 million check.
Yeah, just a little bounce, little shoulder bounce, whatever. Is his character in a tragic relationship? No. Is his character eccentric? No. He's just a dick.
He's just an asshole.
Did he disappear into his character again? Like, no.
The character disappeared into him.
Right. Like, we don't know where this dude ends and where Ryan begins. Like, I don't know. And that's not to say that he disappeared into this character. Like, I feel like the character is Ryan. Which I'm not mad at. Like if that's how Ryan rolls.
Part Murder by Numbers.
Right.
Part Remember the Titans. We've seen this Ryan before.
Right.
So I have a hard time believing that this guy is this.
Right. And especially seeing as Adam McKay wrote the character specifically with Ryan in mind. So yeah. But the character smug level, 1 to 5, comes in 8. Hot with a 5. Yeah, that's a strong 5. And now we read from the book of Gosling. Number 69. While at school, his nickname was Trouble. Probably because he was always sticking up for the girls and quoting feminist philosophers, right? Or maybe it was those steak knives. Apparently, Ryan took steak knives to school when he was younger. Number 70. Even before he grew those perfect muscles, he knew he wanted to entertain us. I always wanted to entertain. When I was 6, a scrawny kid, I'd get in my red Speedos and do muscle moves. I actually thought I was muscular. I didn't know everyone was laughing at me. Oh, it's like Crazy Stupid Love the preschool years. But growing the muscles was
that picture in your head, right?
Right, yeah.
Mouth Club,
yep.
Like that Ryan.
Exactly.
I see that Ryan in Speedos in my mind, and I don't like it.
I don't like it one bit. I would very much like to get away from that. But growing muscles was a great move. Ryan, a sleek, bulbous, beautiful move. So that's that. Oh, Ryan.
Bulbous.
Bulbous. I don't like that word.
Such a gross word.
It's unnecessary. So next up,
I'm excited.
we have The Nice Guys. Yay!
I'm excited.
Me too. I've
owned this movie for a really long time, and because it was like $2.99, $4.99, I don't know. And I was like, sure, why not? I love Ryan Gosling, and this movie looks funny. And then I never watched it. So I'm looking forward to watching this.
All right. So so join us next time as we watch the Nice Guys. Subscribe, follow, like us so you know when there are new episodes. Down to Watch podcast on anchor.fm and Spotify. And thanks for listening. And until next time.